Thanks for tuning in to Know Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we're going to explore the southern Rhone region of Rasteau. Now, Rhone is located in the southern part of France, and in this particular area we produce wines that are always blends made from generally Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre grapes. Now, in this particular area, they're known for producing their dry red wines, but they also produce a white, a red, and a rosé sweet dessert wine called Vin du Naturel. Now, that's a topic for another video, which we've produced and posted, so you can check that out. We're going to focus just on the dry red wines from Rasteau. Now, this particular area has a very interesting mesoclimate. Now, what does that mean in the wine world? Well, geographically and from a geology standpoint, Rasteau is actually shaped like an amphitheater. And when we look at that, all the vineyards in Rasteau actually face the south. Now, why is that important? When vineyards face the south, they pull all of the daytime sunshine in and use that to produce high quality grapes. So that's very important in that mesoclimate. But because it is shaped like a small amphitheater, the entire town, it can defend against something called the Mistral. So what exactly is the Mistral? Well, the Mistral is a wind phenomena that is actually caused by pulling cooler air from the Massif Central and the Provence Alps down towards the warmer air of the Mediterranean Sea. Now, the Mistral itself can be actually quite violent, and it pulls that air down through the Rhone Valley corridor at up to 60 miles an hour. So because Rasteau is shaped like an amphitheater, it actually kind of bumps the Mistral over it and actually shelters some of its grapes. Now, why is that important? Because the Mistral itself actually causes us to plant grapes much different than we would in other parts of the world. In southern Rhone, we use a planting style called Gobeli. So think goblet. And Gobeli vines actually have a rootstock that goes right into the ground, and then the actual leaves of the grapevine itself are not tethered to any type of wires. It's actually Gobeli or goblet. And those vines in that particular are very short, maybe say 3 feet tall, but because of the wind that comes down through that area, the roots on those particular grapes may be as deep as 50 feet deep. So it's a very interesting planting style, but one that's absolutely necessary in that area, or the vines themselves would not survive. Now, in this particular area, this wine gets its power and its spiciness from its soil type. In Rasteau, we have something called marl. Now, marl is just a fancy word for calcareous or calcium-rich limestone clays, but we also have red clay and a little bit of sand and gravel in this particular area, and that's what produces very fruity, high sugar content grapes that can produce powerful and highly alcoholic wines. So Rasteau differs from some of the other appellations that you may have heard of, things like Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Gigondas, Vacqueyras, some of its neighbors, but it is quite a little bit different. So let's go ahead and take a look at a Rasteau wine and see what we see in the glass. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a slight bit of transparency around the edges. The wine is very dark purple in color, very rich looking. If we swirl to liberate some of the aromas, the first thing that comes out of the glass is almost like cracked peppercorn. It almost makes you want to sneeze a little bit. Then we get fruits like plums and blackberries with just a little bit of almost an incense type of aroma. Now, this particular wine is from a vintner by the name of Romain Duvernay. And Duvernay produces wines very much in the traditional style of Rasteau. So I know from working with this vintner before, this wine is going to be a little higher in tannins and a little bit drier in its persona. Wines in Rasteau can be bordering on New World in style or Old World in style, and Duvernay is certainly an Old World producer. Let's go ahead and taste this wine and see what we think. So as this wine crosses the palate, the first thing you'll notice is almost like a plum paste, like a spiced plum Christmas type of pudding. And then we taste a little bit of cherry and a little bit of cassis, which is black currant. Then we get that mid-palate where the incense and the pepper come through. It really makes it quite elegant. And on the backside, really quite gripping and firm tannins that help to support this wine. So this particular wine would pair very, very well with things like wild or gamey type of meats. So if you're a hunter, it would pair very well with, say, deer or stag. If you purchase your meat at the marketplace, think lamb or goat, things that are a little bit more rustic meat. These type of wines pair beautifully with that. So I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of Romain Duvernay's creation. I want to thank you for tuning in and ask that you come back next time, because soon you'll know wine in no time.